Well, I'm adding a little bit to my previous video on healthcare law course selection to add some thoughts that I have about career planning as well. I get into this a little bit, pardon me, in the course selection video, but I wanted to extend my comments about um, career planning just a little bit to provide some greater context. Um, Folks who work in the health law arena um, do so in a number of different settings. Private law firm, of course, but also in-house counsel at healthcare providers, um, think tanks, advocacy groups, and of course the government at the state, county, and federal level. So there are plenty of opportunities here, and obviously the setting to a large extent dictates the body of law that you're going to be dealing with primarily, which at this point it may be difficult to predict. And so one of my take-home messages in the course selection video should be that you should plan for really a variety of different opportunities that might arise, both when you're making a first job selection, but also down the road if you have an opportunity to transition to a different employer, different healthcare, legal setting, et cetera. So private law firm is a major area, as are in-house and government, as well as private nonprofits of one stripe or another. Another way to think about health law is that it's not medical malpractice law. That is, it's not personal injury law with involving accidental injury to patients, either because of an individual healthcare provider's mistake or because of an institutional error. Med mal is a tricky area to make a living in these days in Texas because of healthcare reform, which made it much more expensive and much less remunerative than it used to be. But healthcare law, think of this as the organization, finance, and delivery of healthcare goods and services, which is a massive amount of law involving a huge number of players, and one where you could well find yourself specializing in a subject area that is completely inscrutable to a health lawyer down the hall who is focusing on his or her own areas of healthcare law. So thinking about those possibilities, which are numerous, but also not always available at the time you graduate, the question is how to maximize your opportunities for a healthcare job at graduation. I guess the secret, if there is one, is to network and to network broadly and to network often. There are lots of ways to network. One way is to go to the Dallas Bar Association monthly lunches of the healthcare section, health law section, and to introduce yourself. And once you've met someone and taken their business card, to follow up, coffee or lunch, a half hour or hour session where you can pick their brain about who's out there doing health law, what kind of health law they're doing, and next steps for you to get that health law job. Apart from the Dallas Bar Association networking, the American Health Law Association has many members in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, as well as all around the country. There are about 13,000 members. And so whatever geographical area you might be interested in, there's going to be a whole bunch of members of the American Health Law Association who are more than willing to mentor law students to give them advice about where to go next to look for a job. In addition to the American Health Law Association, there's also the Health Law section of the American Bar Association. Not nearly as large, but it still has a lot of members. A lot of health lawyers are members of both, but that's another source to pursue for advice on how to get started in the health law field. Beyond that, the law school offers externships and sponsors, or at least points you toward internships that are available within the health law industry. And I would strongly recommend that you take advantage of externships. And this is actually something I should have mentioned in my other video, since it is course selection. Those externships get you deeply enmeshed in a health law setting. It introduces you to one or more health law practitioners in that externship setting, and their mentorship to get you moving in the right direction toward a job in health law is extremely valuable. So I would certainly recommend an externship or an internship, which is essentially the same activity as an externship, but without compensation and without academic credit. These are all things that you might well want to consider while you're at SMU to improve your chances. If you'd like to talk to me individually about your own questions concerning getting into health law, feel free to contact me at tmayo, T-M-A-Y-O, at smu.edu. I'm happy to schedule time with you to talk about your goals and how best to achieve them in health law. Meanwhile, be thinking about litigation versus transactional and the kinds of courses as well as experiences that you might arrange for yourself during your 2 upper-level years here at SMU in order to enhance your prospects of getting a job either as a health law litigator or as a health law transactional person. Basic skill sets are important, more important perhaps than ever, in terms of being an attractive candidate for a law firm. And you can do a lot to add to your toolkit as a future litigator or transactional lawyer by taking courses that are more generically oriented toward those particular specialties. So think about what you can do through competitions, through, again, externships and internships that will maybe not specifically set you up for a health law job, but will make you a more attractive health law candidate in either a transactional setting or a litigation setting. And again, contact me if you have any questions.